Hello, Parkway Manor. Welcome to my read aloud for Monday, March 30th. We're in the process of reading Fortunately the Milk, written by Neil Gaiman. For those of you that are just joining, I'll kind of catch you up a little bit. It's about a family of four with a mom, dad, and two daughters. Mom's off on a business conference, and dad's in charge. He heads down to the local corner store to buy some milk and comes back a little bit later than what the kids thought. And when dad arrives home, the daughters ask, "Dad, where have you been? Did you run into somebody?" Dad says, "Well, yes, but then." The story gets very crazy. He starts to tell his daughters how an alien spaceship came down at the corner store, sucked him up. While he was in the spaceship, he found an emergency exit and he pushed the button, which let him out of the spaceship, and he landed into the sea, where he was picked up by a ship full of pirates. While he was on the ship full of pirates, he walked the plank and ended up heading into a primitive world, he's in the middle of a jungle with people from long, long ago. Basically, he's traveling in a time machine, or so he tells his daughters. So we're currently in the jungle with the dad and Professor Steg. Let me show you a picture of him. He's a stegosaurus. This is a picture. And as always, I'm going to go back a few paragraphs to catch you up. "Why did they just all fall to their knees?" asked Professor Steg. "When you raised the milk? Is this usual hairless mammal behavior? Perhaps I should hold up some hard, hairy, wet, white crunchers and see what happens. Coconuts, I told him. They are called coconuts. Well, what is that you're holding?" the one man asked. "Milk," I said. "Milk," they exclaimed, and they all got on the ground and bowed down. "We have a prophecy," said the man, "that when a man and a spiny-backed monster descend from the skies on a round floaty thing." "A floaty ball person carrier," said the little thin man. "Yes, one of those. We were told that when that happened, if the man held up milk, then we were not to sacrifice them, but we were meant to take them to the volcano and give them as a present the green jewel that is the Eye of Splod." "Splod?" "Yes, he is the god of people with short, funny names." "It is," I said, "a remarkably specific sort of prophecy. When did you receive this special message?" "Oh, last Wednesday. The priest of Splod was woken in the night by a voice whispering from the heavens. And when he went to look and see who it was, there was nobody there. Also, he was sleeping on the top of the temple, and nobody else could have been up there with him. So it must have either been Splod himself talking or one of his angelic messengers." And here's a picture. We walked together down a jungle path. Professor Steg carried the rope in his mouth that led up to the balloon, and he dragged the balloon along. After half an hour, we reached the volcano. It was not a very big volcano. There were wisps of smoke coming from top of it. On the side of the volcano, there was a carving of a big, scary face with one eye in the middle of its forehead. The eye was the biggest, greenest emerald stone I had ever seen. "A special, shiny, green stone," said Professor Steg. The fat man clambered up the side of the volcano. "It's a good thing that Splod himself told us to give you the Eye of Splod," said the little thin man, who had narrowly avoided being sacrificed. "Because there is another prophecy that if the Eye of Splod is ever removed, great Splod will awaken and spread burning destruction across the land." "Here you go," said the fat man. He handed us the emerald. Professor Stagg nipped up the rope ladder into the balloon's gondola and began to install the emerald in his time machine. Wait, hang on. He was a stegosaurus, Dad? Yes. You'll notice this story is getting crazy, and you might be wondering, did this really happen, or is the dad telling the girls a little bit of a fib? We're going to have to keep reading to see. Dad, if he was a stegosaurus, how could he just nip up a rope ladder? He was, said my father, a large stegosaurus, but he was very light on his feet. There are fat people, who are excellent dancers and climbers. Are there any ponies in this? Asked my sister. I thought there would be ponies in your story by now. Even the daughters are beginning to wonder if the dad's story is true. I was standing on the ground holding onto the rope ladder when the ground shook and the very small volcano began to belch smoke and lava. Oh, Splod is angry, shouted the little thin man. He wants his eye back. There was a rushing wind, and the balloon jerked me up into the air, high above the splurting lava. Unfortunately, I dropped the milk. I wasn't holding onto it tightly enough. It landed on the top of Splod's head. Professor Stagg hauled the rope ladder up with his tail. I've lost the milk, I told him. Oh, that's not good, he admitted. But I know where it is. It's on top of Splod's head on the side of the volcano. Professor Stagg said, Good Splod, what on earth is that? Before our eyes, another balloon, just like ours, appeared over by the volcano. A man hurried down the rope ladder. He placed a large emerald in Splod's eye, picked up the milk from Splod's head, ran up the ladder, and the balloon vanished. The very small volcano stopped erupting as suddenly as if it had been turned off. Well, that was a bit peculiar, wasn't it? Said the professor. It was, I agreed. That man in that balloon, he stole my milk. We are lost in the past with jungles and pirates and volcanoes. Oh, now I will never get home. My children will never have breakfast. We are doomed to float forever through the dusty air of the past in this hot air balloon. It is not a hot air balloon, said Professor Stagg. It is a floaty ball person carrier. What nonsense you do talk. Now I think that should do the trick. He finished attaching the emerald to the box, using string, mostly, and also sticky tape, and he pushed the red button. Where are we going? I asked. It seemed like the sun was zooming across the sky, as if nights were following days in a flickering strobe. Oh, we're going to the far, far future, said Professor Stagg. The machine stopped. We were hanging in the air above a grassy plain, with a very small gray mountain beneath us. There, said Professor Stagg, it is now an extinct volcano. But look. On the side of the extinct volcano was carved the face of Splod, still recognizable, even though it was much eroded by time and weather, and in the single eye was a huge green emerald, a perfect twin to the one that he had attached to the time machine. Right, said Professor Stagg, grab me that special shiny green stone. I went over the side of the gondola and down the rope ladder. I pulled the emerald out of the eye socket. Below me on the plain, a number of brightly colored ponies were gathered, and when I picked up the emerald, one of them shouted up at me, "You must be the man without the milk. We have heard about you in our tales. Why are you a pink pony with a pale blue star on your side?" I asked. "I know," said the pony with a sigh. "It's what everybody's wearing these days. Pale blue stars are so last year." Professor Stagg leaned over the side of the balloon's basket. "Hurry up," he called. "If the volcano's going to go off, it will do it any moment." The volcano made a noise like a huge burp, and the middle of it collapsed into itself. "We thought it would do that," said a green pony with a sparkly mane. "Let me guess, there was a prophecy, I suppose." "Oh no, we're just very clever and smart." All the ponies nodded. They were very clever ponies. "Ah, Dad, I'm so glad there were ponies," said my sister. That's the end of the chapter, if you can believe it. Tune in on Tuesday for more of Fortunately the Milk. Goodbye for now.